What is up, and welcome to the official return of the Music into Millions podcast. I am so excited to be back. We did just take a little 2-week break. That way we can kind of, reinvent ourselves a little bit, up the quality, up the value that we're providing for you guys. And now we're back. We're better than ever. We got a bunch of new things that you're about to see in a second. So before I do any more talking, I'm going to roll our brand new intro.
You know that we coming liars. I'ma keep praying to God, tell those little niggas stop it. Tell my mama that I got this. You know that we coming liars.
What's going on? It's Pin Fried Rice. Welcome to the Music into Millions podcast. Like I said, we are back from a little 2-week break, and I am super excited to be able to revamp this podcast and just make it an even better resource for you, because this is the number one resource for independent rappers who don't want to have to wait on a record label to be successful. So thank you again for joining me today. Today I want to talk about what Music into Millions is and what it can do for you as an independent artist. And if you stick around to the end of the episode, I'm going to show you how you can join our community for free and be surrounded by other independent rappers who just want to see each other succeed and grow and be the best rappers possible. But before I tell you that, I want to talk about 3 things that Music into Millions is and how it can help you along your music journey. So the first thing that Music into Millions is Music into Millions is a motivator. And the main reason that I actually started the podcast and all these other resources that I'm going to be talking about at the end of the episode is because I want to not only motivate you and inspire you to keep creating and try new things and work harder, but I also want to educate you too, because there's a lot of things that you need to learn in this industry, in the music business, because you have to learn how, if you're an independent rapper, you have to learn how to make the music, obviously. You need to learn how to distribute your music. You need to learn how to market your music. You need to learn the music, the mental health aspects, so that way you're not burning yourself out. There's so much that goes into it, and it can be overwhelming. And I want this podcast and Music into Millions as a whole to be a resource for you to not only keep you inspired, but to keep you motivated and to keep you educated as well. That way, whenever new things come into the music business, whether that be, new trending topics, new ways to promote yourselves, new ways to distribute your music, I'm always going to cover them and give you guys the information. That way, you stay at the forefront of everything going on, and you're able to succeed with as much ease as possible. So with that being said though, I want you guys to drop in the comments if you're listening on YouTube or really anywhere. You can always shoot me an email at musicintomillions@gmail.com. But I want to find out what is on your mind. What do you need help with? What do you want to learn more about? Do you just need a specific topic to be covered? Maybe you have a little bit of confusion. Anything that goes through your mind, please feel free to reach out to me, because I want to be able to help you guys. And by you guys letting me know what topics you want me to cover, I can make this podcast even more specific and even more laser focused in on the things that we need to cover. The first thing that Music into Millions is a motivator, like I said. And the second thing that it is it's a mindset. And like I said at the beginning and the intro of pretty much every podcast episode that I've done, is Music into Millions is the number one resource for independent rappers who don't want to wait on a record label to be successful. And that's not just a quote that I say because it sounds good and it rolls off the tongue. That is something I say because that is literally the mindset that I have personally, and I want all the artists that I'm able to help to have that type of mindset. I don't want you to feel like you have to wait on a record label or wait on a manager or wait on somebody who's going to basically, feed this to you on a silver spoon, because I hate to break it to you, the chances of that happening are extremely low, if not zero, So Music into Millions is the mindset of hardworking, self-driven, determined, creative, independent. All these different factors are what creates the Music into Millions mindset. And I want other rappers as well as myself, I'm continuously developing this mindset. This is not something that I'm amazing at and I have down and every single day I have this in my head. This is something that I'm constantly working on myself, which is also another reason why I do the Music into Millions podcast and all the different free resources that I offer, because that's not just helping you guys, that's actually helping me as well, because I have to do the research, I have to take the time and learn about these topics, which then deepens and strengthens the knowledge that I have. So that is the main Music into Millions is a mindset, and it's such an important mindset to have if you want to be successful in this music career, because you really need to think about every single day, what can I do that's going to get me closer to my goal? Whether it be working on a song, or whether it be, figuring out a social media campaign, or whether it be figuring out all the different ways that you can collect your royalties. And we're going to talk about all this stuff in future episodes. I'm even going to touch on topics that I've covered in previous episodes because, like I said, I've done a lot of thinking, I've done a lot of research and found some ways that I can really revamp this podcast and just really up the value for you guys. So even if I've covered a topic before, you're probably going to hear me talk about it again, but a lot more in depth. I'm really going to break them down more thoroughly for you guys and just make it as simple of a concept to understand. So, Music into Millions is a motivator, Music into Millions is a mindset, and lastly, and my favorite reason, is Music into Millions is a movement. In my mind, and I fully believe this, Music into Millions is going to be the biggest and most helpful resource for independent rappers. That's why the things that I'm doing nowadays is to be able, I'm setting the groundwork and the foundation so that way eventually this can be a movement of millions of rappers. Right now, there is a few rappers on board, a few rappers who support the podcast, who are also involved in our private community, which I'm going to talk more about at the end. But this is just the very beginning, and I have such a big picture and image in mind for Music into Millions that I don't even want to give away all the secrets on this first episode. I just want to give you guys an idea, an introduction to let you know this is the beginning. This is not where it ends, and this is just the final with the podcast and everything else. This is the beginning stages. We are about to be the greatest movement of independent rappers this world has ever seen. So that's what Music into Millions is to me. I hope that Music into Millions is the same thing for you guys. Because, like I said, I put a lot of time and effort into Music into Millions, which that doesn't matter if you guys aren't getting the value and if you guys aren't using this as a great resource for yourself. So I hope that you also look at Music into Millions as these three things for you and in your music career. So with that being said, I have some big announcements, some big news, and I am super excited. So the first big news is that we have a Music into Millions website coming very soon. It's 85% done. I just got to get a few more things put in there, a few more loose ends tied together, and this website's going to have a collection of a bunch of the podcast episodes. Not all of them, because you can come back to YouTube and find everything, but it has them categorized. It's going to have, based off of topics, there's going to be music business, there's going to be mental health, there's going to be recording studio tips, there's music publishing, all these different factors. There's going to be a section on the website where you can actually get Music into Millions merchandise. Like how I've been talking about how our hashtag is I don't need a label, which first off, that's something that I'm going to be promoting a lot more because that really is the main mindset behind Music into Millions is the fact that I don't need a label. You don't need a label. No one needs a label nowadays. And that can mean so much more than just meaning I don't need a record label. That can also mean, I don't need a label. You can't put me in a box. I'm the type of person, and I'm sure you're the type of person, if you're an original, which, I hate to break it to you, every person in this world is original, you cannot be put into a box. There are so many different facets of your personality that make you an individual. You don't need a label, and no label would properly fit you. So you don't need a record label, and you don't need a label to try and tell you who you are. But I'm really going to start pushing that hashtag, and I'm going to turn it into merchandise so that way we can rock it as a group, as a community. I don't have it yet, otherwise I'd be rocking it. You guys would be seeing me wear it. There's going to be a couple shirts with the logo on it. I'm super excited about all that stuff. There's also going to be a whole page on the website dedicated to free resources. Be sure to check that out, and I'll keep you guys posted once that's finished. I'm sure it'll be finished by the end of this week. I just, like I said, gotta finish a few loose ends. And this is the big announcement that I was telling you about at the beginning. If you want to join our private community for free right now, I actually have a private Discord called Music into Millions, and I'll drop the link in the description below. That way, if you want to join us and be surrounded by other independent rappers who are focused on their goals, who want to help each other succeed, and who are just driven on making it without needing a label like I talk about all the time, you can join us down there. Hit the link. There's going to be a bunch of people ready to welcome you in. I'm ready to welcome you in. Hopefully you guys join Music into Millions, whether it's the Discord, hopping on the website, listening to the podcast. hopefully you guys adopt the mindset, because that's really the biggest thing, is the mindset and the movement behind it. Yes, it's a motivator. Yes, making these podcast episodes are fun, and like I said, it's very helpful for me and for you guys, hopefully, but it's a movement nonetheless, and we are going to be the biggest movement of independent rappers, so I'm super excited about that. This is just the beginning. Let's get going.
Nice.